Chapter 1: The Village Girl Who Watches the Drama. In 1970, in a small and quiet countryside village, Lily was known as a strange girl. She was smart. She was hardworking. And sometimes, she acted like a villainess. But Lily never thought she was a bad person. She simply had no choice. Her parents were too soft-hearted. They were the type of people who would smile even after someone cheated them. If neighbors fought with them, they would just lower their heads and step back. Many villagers secretly called them cowards. Lily hated that word. When she was small, she once saw a neighbor take their vegetables without permission. Her mother only sighed and said gently, "Let it go. They must be having a hard time." Lily didn't understand. If someone bullied you, why should you just endure it? So she went to the only person who didn't believe in enduring. Her grandmother. Her grandmother was famous in the village for having a sharp tongue and fierce temper. People said she knew strange things, old curses, strange herbs, and even how to fight. While other girls learned embroidery, Lily learned something else. How to swear properly. How to glare so fiercely people stepped back. And how to throw a punch if someone crossed the line. Because of this, people slowly started avoiding their family. But Lily didn't mind. If they stayed away, it meant less trouble. That year, something new happened in the village. Groups of educated youth from the city began arriving. They said they came to help with rural reform and learn from the countryside. To the villagers, they were strange people. Their clothes were different. Their speech was different. Their habits were even more strange. And Lily always felt something odd when she looked at them. She couldn't explain it. It was like watching actors performing a play she couldn't quite understand. One afternoon, after finishing a long day of farm work under the hot sun, Lily suddenly collapsed. Her body burned with a terrible fever. Her parents panicked and stayed by her bedside all night. But inside Lily's mind, something unbelievable happened. Memories that didn't belong to this life flooded into her head. Scenes. Words. Stories. A novel. When Lily finally opened her eyes the next morning, she stared blankly at the wooden ceiling. So that's why. Her voice was hoarse. This world was actually the setting of a novel she had read in her previous life. And suddenly everything made sense. The strange educated youths. The odd feeling of déjà vu. The sense that everything around her was following some invisible script. The female lead was a girl from the modern world who transmigrated here. She possessed a magical space full of supplies and food. Naturally, she was extremely lucky. The male lead was a young military officer, handsome, capable, and admired by everyone. However, he was sick and needed to return to the countryside to find a suitable wife. And of course, like every novel, there was also a villainess chasing the male lead. And several cannon fodders destined to suffer tragic fates. Lily quietly sorted through the memories. Then she came to a very important conclusion. None of this has anything to do with me. She wasn't the female lead. She wasn't the villainess. She wasn't even cannon fodder. She was simply Lily. A random village girl. So why should she get involved? But there was one small problem. Life in the countryside during the 1970s was extremely boring. No television, no internet, no entertainment. So after understanding the entire plot, Lily suddenly became very interested. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. "If I remember correctly," she muttered while chewing a stalk of grass in the field, "the villainess will fight with the female lead tomorrow." Lily sat on a stone and rested her chin on her hand. Her expression looked extremely excited. Perfect. At least there's something fun to watch. Chapter 2: The Secret Behind the Bamboo Grove. Morning mist still lingered over the fields when Lily carried a wooden basket and walked toward the hillside. The village was quiet at this hour. Only the sounds of roosters and distant farm tools echoed through the air. But Lily wasn't heading to the fields. Instead, she walked toward a place most villagers rarely visited. The bamboo grove behind the mountain. She remembered clearly from the novel in her previous life. This was where the female lead often came when she wanted to secretly take things from her space. Lily wasn't planning to interfere. She simply wanted to confirm something. And watch a little drama. After all, in this era, entertainment was almost non-existent. If she could witness the plot of a novel happening in real life, why would she miss it? Lily quietly crouched behind a thick bamboo cluster. Her movements were light and practiced. Her grandmother had trained her well. If you wanted to hear gossip, you needed to hide properly. Soon, footsteps approached. A young woman appeared along the narrow path. It was Jane Mailing, the educated youth who arrived in the village 2 months ago. She looked delicate and refined, completely different from village girls who worked under the sun all day. Even her skin was pale. Lily narrowed her eyes slightly. Female-led, she murmured quietly. Jane Mailing looked around cautiously. Left. Right. No one. Then she walked deeper into the bamboo grove. Her expression suddenly relaxed. Good. No one followed me today. Lily almost laughed. You checked the road, but not the trees. Jane Mailing closed her eyes. The next moment, something unbelievable happened. A basket of fresh apples appeared in her hands. Bright red. Perfect. Completely impossible for this rural village in 1970. Then rice. White flour. Cooking oil. Even canned meat. Jane Mailing sighed with relief. Thankfully my space is still full. If I had to eat those rough grains every day, I would die. She quickly hid some of the supplies in a small hole she had dug near a tree. Tonight I'll cook secretly again. Those villagers would be shocked if they knew I could eat like this. Lily watched everything calmly from behind the bamboo. Her expression remained completely indifferent. She had already expected this. The magical space. The female-led's greatest cheat. But after watching for a while, Lily suddenly felt a little disappointed. That's it. She thought there would be something more exciting. Instead, the female lead simply took out food and complained about village life. Lily sighed softly. How boring. Still, she quietly memorized the location of the hidden supplies. Not because she planned to steal them, but because her grandmother always said, knowing secrets is never a bad thing. A few minutes later, Jane Mailing left the bamboo grove. Only after her footsteps disappeared did Lily stand up. She stretched lazily. All right. Now let's see the next scene. According to the plot she remembered, tomorrow morning, there would be a very interesting confrontation. Chapter 3, The Villainess Arrives. The next day, the village well was unusually lively. Many villagers gathered there to fetch water. But the atmosphere was tense. Because two people stood facing each other. Jane Mailing and Zhao Fenghua. If Jane Mailing was the delicate and gentle female-led, then Zhao Fenghua was the exact opposite. She was beautiful, but her eyes were sharp and proud. Her clothes were cleaner and better than most villagers. Because her family had power in the nearby town. And most importantly, she liked the same man as Jane Mailing, Captain Gu Jianhong, the young military officer temporarily staying in the village for recovery. Lily sat on a wooden fence not far away, chewing on a stalk of grass. Her eyes sparkled slightly. Oh, the main event. Zhao Fenghua crossed her arms and sneered. So it's true. The educated youth from the city really like pretending to be pitiful. Jane Mailing frowned. I don't understand what you mean. Oh. Zhao Fenghua laughed coldly. You don't? Then why were you deliberately talking to Captain Gu yesterday? Trying to seduce him? The surrounding villagers immediately began whispering. Jane Mailing's face flushed red. I was just thanking him for helping me carry grain. But Zhao Fenghua clearly wasn't planning to let the matter go. You city girls are really shameless. You come to the countryside pretending to suffer. But secretly you are hunting for a good husband. Her voice was loud enough for everyone to hear. Jane Mailing clenched her fists. Tears appeared in her eyes. The scene looked exactly like the classic novel trope. The innocent female lead being bullied by the villainesses. Nearby villagers looked uncomfortable but didn't dare interfere. Zhao Fenghua's family influence was too strong. Lily watched the entire scene calmly. She rested her chin on her palm. Her expression was extremely interested. The villagers thought Zhao Fenghua was terrifying. But Lily saw something else. A girl who was jealous, angry, and desperate. In the original novel, Zhao Fenghua's ending was miserable. After losing the male lead, her family fell from power. Eventually she married a drunk gambler and lived a tragic life. Lily clicked her tongue softly. What a waste. Both sides were actually quite interesting. One had luck and cheats. The other had power and pride. And in the middle of it all was the male lead. Jane Mailing finally spoke again. I'm not interested in fighting with you. I also have no intention toward Captain Go. But Zhao Fenghua clearly didn't believe her. You think I'm stupid? She stepped forward. The villagers held their breath. The tension in the air was thick. But at that exact moment, someone suddenly shouted from far away. Captain Go is coming. The entire crowd instantly became quiet. Zhao Fenghua's expression changed. Chain Meiling wiped her tears quickly. And Lily nearly burst out laughing. She jumped down from the fence. Well, that's today's entertainment finished. She dusted off her clothes. Then walked away casually as if nothing had happened. Behind her, the drama between the leads continued. But Lily didn't care anymore. After all, she was only a spectator, not an actor in their story. And honestly, watching from the sidelines was far more fun. Chapter 4: An accident that ruined someone's plan. Late afternoon sunlight covered the village with a golden glow. Lily carried a bundle of firewood on her back while walking down the dirt path from the mountain. Her steps were steady and relaxed. Ever since remembering the plot of the novel, her life had become strangely entertaining. Every day something interesting happened between the female lead, the villainess, and the male lead. And Lily happily watched everything like a free theater show. However, today her attention wasn't on them. Instead, it was on someone else. Someone who didn't exist in the original novel's spotlight. A man who quietly lived in the village like any other ordinary person. Yet Lily had noticed him long ago. His name was Lu Chen. Once a military officer. A talented soldier praised by many. But 2 years ago, during a mission, an accident injured one of his eyes. The injury forced him to retire early. Now he lived in the countryside, helping his old parents farm. Most villagers treated him with respect but also with distance. A broken soldier was still a soldier. People instinctively felt cautious around him. But Lily thought differently. The first time she saw him splitting wood behind his house, she stopped walking. Tall, broad shoulders, calm and quiet. Even while doing farm work, his posture was straight like a trained blade. His injured eye was slightly cloudy, but the other one was sharp and steady. Lily had immediately made a decision that day. This man would make a very good husband. Unlike the male lead Gu Jianhong, who was surrounded by endless drama, Lu Chen lived peacefully. No female lead, no villainess, no complicated plot. Just a quiet man with a calm personality. Exactly the kind of person Lily liked. Her grandmother always said, choosing a husband is like choosing farmland. Don't choose the most beautiful land. Choose the land that won't collapse during a storm. And Lu Chen clearly looked like very stable land. But Lily had not approached him yet, because she preferred observing first. Just like watching a story unfold. At that moment, as she walked near the village well again, she noticed something strange. Zhao Fenghua stood not far away, speaking quietly to one of the village women. The woman nodded nervously. Then she picked up 2 buckets and walked toward the well. Lily slowed her steps slightly. Her sharp instincts immediately sensed trouble. She leaned casually against a tree and watched. Soon, Chain Meiling arrived at the well with a wooden bucket. Just like usual, she greeted the villagers politely and began drawing water. The village woman who spoke with Zhao Fenghua earlier slowly walked closer. Her hands trembled slightly. Inside her sleeve, something small and wrapped in paper was hidden. Lily raised an eyebrow. Oh! She understood instantly. In the novel, Zhao Fenghua once tried to create trouble for the female lead. Poisoning. Or rather, making it look like the female lead poisoned someone. A classic villainous strategy. The woman moved closer and pretended to stumble. Her sleeve tilted toward Chain Meiling's bucket. The small paper packet began sliding out. But at that exact moment, Lily suddenly walked forward carrying her heavy firewood. Move! Her voice was calm but direct. The woman startled. She instinctively stepped back, and the paper packet fell straight to the ground. White powder spilled into the dirt. Everyone froze. The woman's face turned pale. Zhao Fenghua, who was watching from a distance, also stiffened. Lily looked down at the powder, then at the terrified woman, then at Zhao Fenghua. Her expression was completely indifferent. Careless. She simply said that single word, then continued walking past them as if nothing had happened. She didn't ask questions. She didn't expose anyone. She didn't help the female lead either. To Lily, this entire situation was just annoying. She only wanted to pass through. But unfortunately, her timing was too perfect. Behind her, the atmosphere became extremely awkward. The woman hurriedly kicked dirt over the powder. Chain Meiling looked confused but didn't understand what happened. Zhao Fenghua clenched her fists. Her plan had just been ruined by pure accident. Meanwhile, Lily had already left the well area. She walked toward the edge of the village where several houses stood near the forest. One of those houses belonged to Lu Chen. She slowed her steps slightly. Right on time. Lu Chen was outside splitting firewood again. The sound of the axe echoed steadily. Thud, thud, thud. Each movement was powerful and precise. Lily leaned casually against the wooden fence nearby and watched for a while. Her eyes showed clear appreciation. Very strong. Good stamina. Very reliable. Yes. The more she observed, the more satisfied she became. Lu Chen finally noticed her presence. He paused and looked over. His sharp eye calmly studied the young girl leaning on his fence. You've been standing there for a while. His voice was low but not unfriendly. Lily didn't feel embarrassed at all. She simply answered honestly. I'm observing. Lu Chen raised an eyebrow slightly. Observing what? Lily looked at him from head to toe. Then nodded seriously. Potential husband. For the first time in a long while, Lu Chen was speechless. The axe in his hand paused midair. He had faced enemies, war zones, and injuries. But this bold village girl had just said something that left him completely unprepared. Meanwhile, Lily crossed her arms and tilted her head slightly. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity. Your eye is injured. But you can still farm, chop wood, and fight if needed. She spoke as if evaluating livestock at a market. Temper seems stable. Body strong. Then she concluded calmly. Acceptable. Lu Chen stared at her for a long moment. Then suddenly laughed. A deep, rare laugh. You are a strange girl. Lily shrugged. I know. Then she pushed herself off the fence. Anyway, keep working. I'll come observe again tomorrow. After saying that, she walked away casually, as if she had just discussed the weather. Lu Chen watched her disappearing figure. The faint smile on his face didn't disappear. For the first time since retiring from the army, life in this quiet village suddenly felt a little less boring. Chapter 5: Tension between two men. The village clinic was unusually crowded that afternoon. Captain Gu Jianhong had come again for treatment. Even though his illness had improved slightly, the doctor still insisted he rest in the countryside for some time. Several villagers stood nearby pretending to chat, but their eyes kept drifting toward the tall military officer. Handsome men were rare in the countryside, and Gu Jianhong was not only handsome, he carried the cold and disciplined aura of a soldier. Naturally, attention followed him everywhere. But someone else stood beside him. A man with calm posture and simple clothes. Lu Chen. Unlike Gu Jianhong's sharp and commanding presence, Lu Chen felt quiet and steady. One eye slightly clouded from injury, but the other eye remained sharp and observant. The two men stood side by side. Both had once worn military uniforms. Both had fought in dangerous missions. Even without words, a faint tension filled the air. Gu Jianhong looked at Lu Chen. You retired too early. His tone was calm, but a hint of regret was hidden within. Lu Chen shrugged slightly. Injury is injury. Better to leave than become a burden. Gu Jianhong studied his injured eye briefly before nodding. Still a waste of talent. Lu Chen didn't answer. He simply leaned against the wooden wall. But at that moment, a familiar figure walked toward the clinic. Chain Mailing. She carried a small basket of herbs. The moment she appeared, Gu Jianhong's gaze softened slightly. Comrade Chain. Chain Mailing smiled politely. I brought herbs the doctor asked for. Her voice was gentle. But the moment she noticed Lu Chen standing beside Gu Jianhong, her expression froze slightly. Something about Lu Chen made her uneasy. His calm gaze felt too sharp, almost like he could see through things. Gu Jianhong noticed the small change. You two haven't met. This is Lu Chen. He used to be in the army. Chain Mailing nodded politely. Hello. Lu Chen simply gave a small nod in return. But the atmosphere felt strangely tense. From a distance, Lily sat on a low stone wall eating roasted peanuts. Her eyes sparkled with excitement. Interesting, she whispered to herself. The original novel only focused on Gu Jianhong. But now another former officer stood beside him. Two men. Both calm. Both capable. And both standing near the female lead. This situation could only lead to drama. Lily happily continued watching the show. Chapter 6: The Female-Led's Suspicion. That evening, Chain Mailing returned to the bamboo grove. Her movements were more cautious than usual. She kept looking behind her. Ever since yesterday, an uncomfortable feeling had settled in her heart. Someone might have seen her. She stopped beside the hidden supplies and closed her eyes. A moment later, several items appeared from her space. Fresh fruit, rice, cooking oil. Everything looked normal. But Jane Mailing still frowned. I'm sure someone was nearby yesterday. She remembered the faint sound of footsteps. Then she remembered something else. Lily. That strange village girl. Jane Mailing had noticed her many times. Unlike other villagers who were curious or friendly, Lily always looked at people with a calm, observing gaze. Almost like she was watching a performance. Jane Mailing clenched her fingers slightly. What if she saw something? The thought made her uneasy. The space was her greatest secret. If anyone discovered it, everything could become dangerous. Jane Mailing took a deep breath. No, it's probably just my imagination. Still, for the first time since arriving in the village, she decided to be more careful. Meanwhile, hidden behind a large bamboo trunk nearby, Lily quietly watched everything again. She sighed softly. Paranoid already. She stretched lazily. I didn't even touch your food. Lily had no interest in stealing anything from the female led. In her opinion, those supplies would only create unnecessary trouble. Besides, she had more important matters to focus on now, like choosing a husband. Chapter 7, Lily's Husband Observation Plan. The next morning, Lu Jane walked out of his house carrying a farming tool. And immediately stopped. Because someone was sitting on the wooden fence again. Lily waved casually. Good morning. Lu Jane sighed. You are here again? Lily nodded seriously. Yes. Observation continues. Lu Jane rubbed his forehead slightly. You are still thinking about that nonsense? It's not nonsense. Lily jumped down from the fence. Her expression was extremely serious. I'm evaluating my future husband. Lu Jane almost laughed again. You are only 19. And? Lily crossed her arms. In the countryside, girls marry earlier than that. Then she began walking around him slowly. Like a merchant inspecting goods. Lu Jane simply watched her with amused patience. After a moment she nodded. Your physical condition is good. You wake up early. You work hard. Your temper also seems stable. Lu Jane raised an eyebrow. You've been studying me. Of course. Lily answered naturally. If I'm going to marry someone, I should choose carefully. Lu Jane looked at her for a long moment. Then he asked calmly. What if I refuse? Lily didn't hesitate at all. Then I'll find someone else. Her answer was so direct that Lu Jane almost choked. But strangely, he found it refreshing. At least she wasn't shy or pretending. She simply said what she thought. Chapter 8, The Man Who Realized Too Late. A few days later, Lu Jane began noticing something strange. Lily appeared almost every day. Sometimes sitting on the fence. Sometimes leaning against a tree. Sometimes pretending to help nearby villagers while secretly watching him. At first, he thought she was joking. But slowly, he realized something. She was completely serious. One afternoon he finally walked toward her. You're really planning to marry me? Lily nodded immediately. Yes. Lu Jane looked at her carefully. Her expression was calm. Not shy. Not playful. Just determined. You don't even know me? I know enough. She counted on her fingers. Former soldier. Injured but capable. Doesn't cause trouble. Also not surrounded by crazy women. Lu Jane laughed helplessly. That's your standard. Lily nodded. Yes. Then she added seriously. Also, you look reliable. Lu Jane looked at the sky for a moment. For years after leaving the army, his life had been quiet and predictable. But now, a strange village girl had suddenly appeared and declared she wanted him as her husband. And the most dangerous part was, she didn't look like someone who would easily give up. Lu Jane sighed. You are really troublesome. Lily smiled slightly. That means you haven't rejected me yet. Lu Jane froze. Then realized something. This girl was far more cunning than she looked. And somehow, without him noticing, she had already stepped into his peaceful life. Chapter 9, When Side Characters Start Targeting the Female Lead. Life in the village seemed calm on the surface. But underneath that calm surface, small currents of conflict were slowly forming. Ever since Jane Mailing arrived, many people's lives had subtly changed. Some admired her. Some envied her. And some began to resent her. The female lead's luck was too good. Whenever she worked in the fields, someone would accidentally help her finish early. Whenever she went to the mountains, she would always return with the best herbs. Even the village doctor praised her knowledge. To others, it looked like talent. But to some women in the village, it looked like showing off. One afternoon, several village women gathered near the washing river. Their voices were quiet but full of dissatisfaction. She always acts like she's better than us. Yes, always so polite, but it feels fake. And Captain Gu always talks to her. One of the women suddenly lowered her voice. I heard she secretly eats good food. The others immediately leaned closer. Good food? How is that possible? We barely have grain, but someone saw her cooking meat at night. The whispers spread quickly. Suspicion, jealousy, doubt. Small rumors slowly began circling the female lead. From a distance, Lily sat under a tree peeling a sweet potato. She listened quietly. Her eyes held a faint amused light. Oh! The classic side character jealousy arc had begun. In most novels, these women would soon try to cause trouble for the female lead. But Lily didn't plan to interfere. She simply enjoyed observing. However, someone else was watching her instead. Chapter 10, Gu Jianhong notices Lily. Captain Gu Jianhong had sharp instincts. Years in the military had trained him to notice small details others ignored. And recently, he had begun noticing a certain village girl. Lily. At first, she didn't attract attention. She looked like any ordinary countryside girl. But after observing her several times, Gu Jianhong realized something unusual. Whenever chain mailing was nearby, Lily was also nearby. But she never approached, never spoke. She simply watched. Quietly, calmly, almost like someone watching a stage performance. Today was the same. Chain mailing stood near the well speaking with several villagers. Not far away, Lily sat on a wooden fence eating roasted peanuts again. Gu Jianhong slowly walked closer. His boots made soft sounds on the dirt path. Lily noticed him immediately. Her eyes shifted toward him briefly, then returned to the scene near the well. Gu Jianhong stopped beside the fence. You seem very interested in village life. His voice was calm. Lily shrugged. There isn't much entertainment here. Gu Jianhong studied her carefully. You watch people a lot. That's normal. Lily replied lazily. People are more interesting than farming. Gu Jianhong narrowed his eyes slightly. Most villagers avoided his gaze. But Lily spoke to him casually, without nervousness. Almost like she didn't consider him important at all. That girl. He nodded toward chain mailing. You observe her often. Lily cracked another peanut. Yes. Why? She thought for a moment. Then answered honestly. Because interesting things always happen around her. Gu Jianhong's gaze sharpened. What kind of interesting things? Lily smiled faintly. Captain Gu. You are a soldier, right? Yes. Then you should know something. What? Some battles have nothing to do with you. She threw the peanut shell aside. And it's more fun to watch them from far away. After saying that, Lily jumped down from the fence and walked away, leaving Gu Jianhong standing there. For the first time since arriving in the village, he felt slightly curious about someone who wasn't the female lead. Chapter 11, when Lu Chain steps in. 2 days later, trouble finally appeared. The rumors about Chen Meiling secretly eating good food had spread. Some villagers began watching her more closely. One afternoon, while Lily walked back from the forest carrying herbs, she passed near the river. Several women stood there washing clothes. The atmosphere looked tense. One woman suddenly pointed toward chain mailing. So tell us, where do you get meat? Chain mailing froze. I don't understand. Don't pretend. Another woman spoke sharply. Someone saw smoke from your house late at night. You must be hiding food. Chain mailing felt panic rising. Her space secret could never be exposed. I just cook vegetables. But the women clearly didn't believe her. Their voices grew louder. Lily stood nearby watching. She didn't step forward. This wasn't her problem. But suddenly one of the women turned toward Lily. You're always wandering around. Did you see anything? Lily blinked. She had simply been passing by. Now she was suddenly dragged into the scene. Before she could answer, a calm voice spoke behind her. That's enough. Everyone turned. Lu Chain stood there. Tall, quiet, but his presence carried natural authority. The women immediately became less aggressive. Lu Chain. We are just asking questions. Lu Chain walked forward slowly. His single sharp eye swept across the group. If you have evidence, speak. If you don't, stop harassing people. The women hesitated. None of them actually had proof. They only had rumors. After a moment, they began muttering and slowly dispersed. Chain Mailing finally breathed in relief. Thank you. But Lu Chain had already turned away. He simply looked at Lily. You attract trouble? Lily shrugged. I was just walking. Lu Chain sighed. Stay away from noisy places. Then he walked away again. But Lily watched his back with interest. Her eyes sparkled slightly. Very reliable. Her husband candidate had just gained several more points. Chapter 12, The Female Leads Test. That evening, Chain Mailing sat alone in her small house. Her mind replayed the events of the day. Something still felt wrong. Those women suddenly questioning her. It couldn't be coincidence. But the most suspicious person in her mind was still Lily. That girl appeared everywhere. Always watching. Always calm. Almost like she knew things others didn't. Chain Mailing clenched her fingers. I need to confirm something. The next day, she prepared a small basket of fruit. Then she walked toward Lily's house. When Lily opened the door, she looked slightly surprised. Oh. The female lead visiting me? Chain Mailing forced a polite smile. I wanted to thank you for helping yesterday. Lily leaned against the door frame. I didn't help. Chain Mailing carefully studied her expression. Still, I brought some fruit. She held the basket forward. Inside were several fresh apples. Lily stared at them for a moment. Then suddenly smiled. You should be careful. Chain Mailing froze. Careful? Lily leaned slightly closer. Her voice was calm but meaningful. If you keep taking things out of your special place so often, someone might eventually notice. Silence filled the doorway. Chain Mailing's heart nearly stopped. Her eyes widened in shock. Lily stepped back casually. Anyway, thanks for the apples. She took one and closed the door, leaving Chain Mailing standing outside, completely frozen. Because in that single moment, her greatest secret had just been exposed. Chapter 13, Panic and a Bribe. That night, Chain Mailing could not sleep. The small oil lamp flickered beside her bed while her mind replayed Lily's words again and again. If you keep taking things out of your special place so often. Those words echoed like thunder in her ears. Her secret. The space. Someone new. Chain Mailing's fingers trembled slightly as she sat up. How much does she know? Was it a guess? Or had Lily truly seen something? The thought made cold sweat form on her back. In her previous life she had read many novels. When a secret like this was exposed, the result was usually disastrous. People would treat her like a monster. Or worse, someone might try to steal the secret. No. I can't let that happen. Chain Mailing forced herself to calm down. Killing Lily was impossible. This was a village, not some lawless place. If anything happened to Lily, suspicion would fall on her immediately. There was only one safer solution. Bribe her. If Lily accepted benefits, then she would naturally keep the secret. Chain Mailing quickly entered her space. Rows of supplies appeared around her. White rice, flour, sugar, fabric, canned meat. In this poor countryside, even one of these items could tempt people. I don't believe she won't accept. The next afternoon, Chain Mailing visited Lily again. This time she brought a heavier basket. Lily was sitting outside repairing a broken farming tool when she arrived. You are here again? Lily glanced at the basket. Chain Mailing forced a gentle smile. I came to talk. Lily leaned back lazily. About your secret. Chain Mailing's smile stiffened. She lowered her voice. You saw it, didn't you? Lily didn't answer directly. She simply tossed a small screw into the tool and tightened it. Chain Mailing took a deep breath. I won't ask how you found out. But I hope we can cooperate. She opened the basket. Inside were rice, sugar, and a piece of cloth. In the future, if you need anything, I can help. As long as you keep my secret. The wind blew gently through the yard. For a moment, neither spoke. Then Lily laughed softly. Bribing me? Chain Mailing remained calm. This is mutual benefit. You keep quiet. I help you improve your life. Lily picked up the cloth and examined it. Good quality. Rare in the countryside. But after a moment she tossed it back into the basket. I don't need it. Chain Mailing's eyes widened. You don't want it. Lily shook her head. Too troublesome. She stood up and stretched. I already told you. I'm just watching. Then she looked at chain mailing with a faint smile. Your story is interesting, so I won't ruin it. After saying that, she casually walked away, leaving chain mailing standing there with the untouched basket. For the first time since transmigrating, the female lead felt completely out of control. Chapter 14, Chao Fenghua's Revenge. Meanwhile, Chao Fenghua had not forgotten the humiliation at the well. Her plan had been ruined. And worse, several villagers had secretly laughed about it. Inside her room, Chao Fenghua clenched her fists. That stupid village girl. Lily had destroyed everything simply by walking through. Chao Fenghua originally planned to target chain mailing. But now, her anger shifted slightly. 2 targets. Chain mailing. And Lily. Chao Fenghua called a trusted village woman. I need your help again. The woman hesitated. Last time almost caused trouble. Chao Fenghua placed several coins on the table. The woman's eyes immediately brightened. What do you want me to do? Chao Fenghua smiled coldly. This time we won't poison anyone. We'll just let the village see someone's true face. Her eyes darkened slightly. If rumors aren't enough, then we'll create evidence. Chapter 15, A Proposal Refused. Several days later, the village atmosphere changed again. Captain Gu Jianhong had recovered enough to leave soon. Before returning to the army, he needed to make an important decision. Marriage. For several weeks he had observed chain mailing. She was intelligent, hardworking, gentle, and unlike many village girls, she could understand his experiences. So that afternoon he visited her house. Chain mailing looked surprised. Captain Gu Jianhong stood straight like a soldier reporting duty. I'll return to the army soon. Chain mailing nodded slightly. I heard. Gu Jianhong looked directly at her. So I'll speak clearly. I would like to marry you. The words were simple, direct, just like his personality. But chain mailing froze. In the original novel, she eventually married him. But not now. Not this early. And more importantly, her secret was already in danger.